Good morning. How are you doing? I hope you had a lot of fun yesterday because finally you could go out for a walk and then you could enjoy the fresh air and so on. So, me myself, I enjoyed it a lot with my two children. So, let's go into start. Today is fermentation, pages 76 and 77. First of all, for those of you that are in 6B, I'm sorry because by mistake, I erased the class, so now the English class, so now we are going to do it with one that was for science, and then we are going to do it for English. And then I'm going to tell you that you are going to see here the message that I attach a presentation on this unit, that is this one, and you also have a folder on the left. That's what I explained to you. Here on the left of every class you have something that says carpetas, and you click and you have this, and here you have, well, I'm going to add more things. Aquí voy a poner todas las cosas que suba para que las tengáis a mano. Y hay una presentación que se llama Matter. We are going to go over it. You can watch it, and it's a summary from the beginning until what we have now, that is fermentation. So I'm going to pass the different slides. You have links to videos. You have also like a summary and explanation, and you can watch it carefully. We are going to go, I think it's here. We are going to go to fermentation. Okay, here, yes, fermentation. Okay, so what is fermentation? Fermentation is a chemical change made by microorganisms such as yeast or bacteria. Yeast, levadura. This is an example of the yeast that makes bread, and this is an example of the bacteria that makes yogurt. So it was discovered thousands of years ago and gives us many different food and drink. Yogurt, cheese, wine, bread, cider, esto es sidra. How this happened? Because the microorganisms feed on the sugar of the food and they produce other substances that change the properties of food. Okay, I'm going to put it in a presentation mode. So this is fermentation. Okay, here is some example of food that we make through fermentation. With the yeast, con la levadura, we can do cider, sorry, this is a D, sidra, wine, or bread. Different types of yeasts. And bacteria, we can make yogurt or cheese, as well different types or species of bacteria. So, how are wine and cider made? With yeast, as we saw before. So how this reaction happens? The sugar that is present in the grapes, en las uvas, or in the apples, for the case of the cider, para la sidra, we use apples. For the wine, we use grapes. Well, this sugar is eaten by the yeast. The yeast is a microorganisms of the fungi kingdom, del reino de los hongos. They are microorganisms from the fungi kingdom. Here you can see they are unicellular organisms that they live in colonies, viven en colonias, pero son microorganismos unicelulares del reino de los hongos. So the yeast eats, as you eat, as I eat, as any type of living thing needs food. So what do they eat? They eat sugar. And when they eat the sugar, they produce alcohol and carbon dioxide. So in this process, the things that we need are this, the alcohol or the carbon dioxide. These that I have here below are something called enzymes, enzimas. They are substances that accelerate the process. So we only need yeast and sugar, but with the enzymes, the process is accelerated. And then we produce alcohol or carbon dioxide. Right? You have here a video, a link, how wine is made. Explica cómo se hace el vino. You have different types of yeast, and depending on the yeast, you have different types of wine. Well, I have to tell you that the yeast is naturally present in the places where wine is made, but you can also add more yeast. En las bodegas normalmente ahora mismo se añade levadura, se añaden fermentos para hacer vino, pero tradicionalmente en las bodegas y en los barricas de roble ya estaban esas levaduras y también en la piel de las uvas. Entonces no hace falta añadirle nada, sale vino al final. Pero si le añadimos la levadura que queremos, if we add the type of yeast that we want, we have different types of wine. The same for the cider. And the cider also have these carbon dioxide bubbles. Tiene burbujitas de dióxido de carbono. Okay, this is a type of fermentation. Another one, bread, el pan, is also made with yeast. And this is the funny thing, it's the same species of yeast. Es la misma especie, la que hace el pan que la que hace la cerveza o la que hace el vino o la que hace la sidra. Es Saccharomyces cerevisiae. No hace falta que lo sepáis, pero es curioso. Here you have two bread recipes in case you want to do bread, the English bread or the Spanish bread. What do we need for the fermentation with yeast to make bread? We need flour and warm water. El agua templada, this wakes up the yeast, so makes the yeast activated, and then that makes the dough, la masa. The yeast consumes the starch. In this case, in the previous case, it was the sugar what the yeast eats. In this case, is the starch, el almidón of the flour. That is a type of sugar. The yeast produces tiny carbon dioxide bubbles, which makes the dough spun, which is a spongy bread. In this case, we don't leave the yeast so much time to produce alcohol. So it's a shorter fermentation. If we left this longer, probably we will have also alcohol. Another type of fermentation with bacteria, in this case yogurt, can also be done for cheese. We need fresh milk that contains lactose, that is a type of sugar, so again we have a type of sugar, and then the bacteria. The bacteria consume the lactose of the milk and then turns it into lactic acid, ácido láctico, that gives the yogurt the taste sour and acidic, amargo y un poco ácido. So what type of bacteria can we use to make yogurt? Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus. These two types of bacteria are going to eat the lactose to produce the yogurt with the milk. And here you have a link on how to make yogurt, okay? Cheese is another type of fermentation that is made with bacteria. Here you have links of how is the industrial cheese made and the traditional cheese. What is the process of cheese making? It's a little bit more complicated because it has several steps. You have here a summary, you don't need to learn that. But it works similar to yogurt, but it's longer. So it is a little bit more elaborated, okay? Then I'm going to go back to the book, okay? And in the book it explains exactly what I said to you. So what do we have here? That yeast, bacteria, and other microorganisms can be used for fermentation. Fermentation involves a chemical change. Enzymes help a chemical change happen more quickly. Yeast. What is yeast? You have here a picture. I show you a different one. It's a microscopic unicellular fungus. So it belongs to the fungi kingdom. Es un hongo unicelular y microscópico. Yeast can be used as an enzyme in fermentation. Enzymes help a chemical change happen or happen more quickly. When yeast consumes sugar, it converts it into alcohol and carbon dioxide, as I explained you before. And this is a process called fermentation. Example of yeast can be used to make alcoholic drinks such as cider. To make cider, sidra, apples are crushed, se machacan, and some yeast is added. The yeast consumes the sugar and converts into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So the alcohol and bubbles of gas in cider are produced because of fermentation. Yeast can also be used to make bread and cakes. First, flour and water are mixed to make dough. Dough es masa. Están muchas palabras que conocéis. Por ejemplo, Play-Doh, la masa para jugar, Play-Doh. O donut, Donut en inglés. Donut es una nuez de masa. Y en español se escribe donut, pero en inglés sería do and then nut, N-U-T, N-U-T. When yeast is added to the dough, the yeast consumes the starch, el almidón, in the flour. As the yeast consumes the starch, it produces carbon dioxide bubbles, these bubbles that you can see here, which makes the dough sponge. The spongy texture of baked bread is caused by the carbon dioxide bubbles. Okay, easy. And here, what do we have here? How to make yogurt and cheese. In this case, fresh milk contains some bacteria and a sugar called lactose. The bacteria consume the lactose in the milk and turn them into a lactic acid. Milk with a high lactic acid content tastes sour and acidic. We can then use the lactic acid to make yogurts and cheeses. To make cheese from fermented milk, additional bacteria are added to the milk to help it coagulate or become solid. These bacteria enzymes also accelerate the process. As the milk solidifies, an extra liquid is removed. The solid sería el cuajo. The solid part, el cuajo sería el queso y el líquido que sobra se quita. The solid part is then pressed together, salted, and left in a controlled environment to form cheese. You can watch the video I showed you before. This process can take many months. During this time, the bacteria breaks down the proteins in the cheese, rompe las proteínas del queso. And sometimes a fungus called Penicillium is added. Este hongo es verde, ¿vale? No es la misma especie que en la penicilina que descubrió Fleming para curar un antibiótico, pero sí que es el mismo género. Penicillium is added to make, for example, Roquefort cheese or Cabrales. It is a species of Penicillium, okay? And this is a type of fungus. This fungus breaks down any large molecules in the cheese, making it softer and more liquid. Sometimes Penicillium is used to create blue lines inside the cheese. The process of fermentation was discovered thousands of years ago and gives us many different food and drink products. However, nowadays, food producers control the process carefully to prevent harmful bacteria from making the food unsafe to eat. Ahora se controla mucho más para que no sean inseguras. Okay, the exercises you can do are these. You have to send them to me on the notebook. Cider, we said that is sidra, and fizzy es como burbujeante, right? What kingdom does cheese belong to? ¿A qué reino pertenece? What does cheese consume when it performs nutrition? ¿Qué es lo que se come la levadura? And what makes cider fizzy? ¿Qué es lo que sale las burbujas? ¿Qué es lo que provoca las burbujas? And what makes bread spongy? Probably these two answers are the same. Then you do this on Blink Learning. You don't have to do number 3 and number 4. You do it also in Blink Learning because it has a tick. And number 5 is a listening. You do it on your notebook. And then the quiz also on your notebook. Okay, I hope you understood everything. And if you have any question, you know you can ask me. I want to show you that here in the presentation, you have links to all the videos that I already recorded. And I'm going to add this one here in the fermentation, okay? So you can have a look, and if you have any question, you just ask me, and I will be glad to answer it to you. Goodbye and have a nice day. By the way, I propose that you do an experiment, and this is optional. You can make bread or you can make yogurt, okay? I would like to see your pictures and the recipe. You have here some ideas in these 2 recipes. And also you have here how to make yogurt, another example. So I'm waiting for your videos or pictures better and the recipes. Goodbye and have a nice day. You have until Sunday to do everything. So until the 3rd of May, you have to do everything, the experiment and the homework. And by the end of the week, probably you will have a little some questions about this. It's not an exam, it's just questions to check if you understood everything or not. Goodbye.